With stocks soaring big time and the DXY initiating maximum massive dumpage, is Bitcoin right now forming the bustiest bounce pattern of the entire bear market. Right now, the price of Bitcoin has gotten a small rejection over the last few days at a very key daily and weekly moving average, but something bigger than Bitcoin that absolutely, even over the short term, becomes completely, absolutely 1000% mega bullish is happening right now. And so far, it is exactly those two things that we talked about in the last video that I uploaded a few days ago. It's absolutely huge, and we're seeing all of this continue. So I want to start off by looking at one of the most important things, and that is the US dollar. For the last couple of days, going all the way back to the 3rd, so really the past week, the DXY has initiated, yes, absolutely, you guessed it, a dumpy downtrend after nearly 3 months of straight up. And this is big. Here we see Crypto NB1 on Twitter talking about this bearish MACD cross with the DXY actually breaching below, if we kind of just draw this like trend line here over the past 3 months, below some of these key levels. And actually, if you kind of just line this up with some of the dippiest of the candles we've seen, you can see we're pretty close to potentially a big breakdown where, yes, over the past week, we've seen dumpiness for the DXY, but if we see this actually break down, this could be actual dumpiness where we see big candles, not just little itsy bitsy baby downside candles. This is significant more so because it's been 7 straight or an entire week of downside, but big dumpiness. And in particular, I think that 105, no matter what, will be support. And obviously also 103, 103.5. Obviously, over the past year, we've seen this level be a pretty big resistance zone. And this 3-month rally has been the biggest bust for the DXY in a very long time. And these levels will probably play support in the short term, but we have to be careful here because there are some fundamental reasons why they might not. And Titan of Crypto talking about the dollar as well. If it breaks here, it's a free fall down to the cloud on the Ichimoku cloud. That would let Bitcoin and other risk assets have their end of year rally. Note, not that the daily MACD crossed bearish. You can see that here for the DXY. And absolutely, that's a huge piece of this puzzle. The second one is the stock market, where after going down to the 200-day moving average, where we touched for a couple days, the very first couple days of October, this big bounce has allowed us to break above the 21-day moving average, and the 50 is all the way up at about 4420-ish, a little over 4,400. So if stocks actually get above these short-term moving averages, after a 3-month dumpy downtrend for stocks, that is very good. We just had a bullish cross on the MACD, actually daily chart for stocks. We just got this cross yesterday, and we're seeing momentum pick up a little bit. If that becomes a sustained multi-week rally for the stock market, and the DXY has a sustained dumpiness downtrend for a couple of weeks, absolutely, I think Bitcoin is going to be able to do big things here. Looking at Bitcoin's daily chart also, we most recently got a rejection right here off of the 200-day moving average. Support is here around the 21-day moving average at about 27,000. Very big level of support, most likely. In fact, that was the last level we faced big resistance back on September 19th and 20th. And so short term, Bitcoin is obviously getting very coiled up in between two key moving averages where there's going to be a big move, I believe. I personally believe very strongly there is going to be a big move shortly. But more importantly, even the 200-week moving average right here for Bitcoin, right at about 28,000. So it's no surprise, as I talked about in the last video, if we don't break through it right away. But we also have that big support all the way down here also at around 25. But we haven't really even gotten down there because Bitcoin has remained relatively strong. On the weekly chart for Bitcoin as well, we are seeing getting close actually to a bullish cross on the MACD weekly for Bitcoin. Actually, in August of 2022 was the last time we got a bullish weekly cross for Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin obviously dropped a little bit, but then ultimately went from about 15K up to almost 32K. 32K depending on the exchange. So big tense moments here. We've had 3 months of a downtrend for the stocks and Bitcoin. And we're in a position now where quickly things are set up to where the dollar falls a little bit more. The S&P, the stock market, breaks back above, it's 21 and 50-day moving average, which we're right now on the 21, testing it for support. Quickly, we could start to see Bitcoin breathe some life into it as, again, we begin the fourth quarter of this year. Also, Mags the Scalping Pro on Twitter talking about a Bitcoin monthly ribbon turning green again. The monthly MA ribbon has acted as strong support in the past, and it has marked the Bitcoin bear market bottom in the last 2 cycles. But this cycle, price broke down below this moving average ribbon, causing the ribbons to turn red for the first time ever. Currently, price has managed to flip the monthly MA ribbon back into support, and the ribbons have turned green again. So, significant, right? Things, basically, I think that's just highlighting how dumpy things have gotten. Now, I do want to highlight also here, so before we continue with the Bitcoin chart, the 13th, just a couple of days away of this month, the window for the U.S. SEC to appeal the grayscale Bitcoin spot ETF ruling by the U.S. District of Columbia Circuit will shut. And as this deadline looms, the crypto community is abuzz with speculation, predictions, and hopes. Pretty much what Eric Balchunas says here is that the fact they're actively engaging with issuers on their current filings via comments, which they've never done before, he's saying they think an appeal is unlikely and denial is unlikely. And he says that holding that line about a 75% odds of approval by the end of the year, a number that will only go up if we go into January. But Balchunas also was not the only optimistic person. His colleague James Seffart saying that I don't think they'll appeal it, but it's possible that they do. If they do, the SEC will lose. It's possible they do appeal it, but if they do, there's like 0% chance they'd actually win that. So the SEC would most likely lose that as well. Just getting a better understanding of next steps would be maybe the only purpose of that. But the broader crypto community has been debating the potential outcomes. And basically, one user did speculate that if they don't appeal, it might actually just begin the process of a 45-day window for the SEC to conclusively decide on their proposal. And at some point, the courts or the SEC or someone will say the SEC is going to issue an order by certain deadline, whether it's 45 days, 60 days, 90 days, and they simply can't drag it on for literally forever, even though they're trying to. But I think we all know the implications of a Bitcoin spot ETF, which would require the physical backing of physical Bitcoin, something we have never, ever, ever, ever seen before. And so this is a point that I really just like thinking about and like talking about, because Bitcoin was all the way at 69,000 US dollars. Nice. Not that long ago, within the last 2 years. And it was without any true institutional capital. Right? Bitcoin's market cap, I think, or the entire crypto market cap topped out a little, if we actually, let's just pull out the chart of the entire crypto market cap, topped out right here at about almost 3 trillion US dollars. That is not global institutional adoption. $3 trillion is basically nothing. I'm pretty sure that's like the market cap of Apple, a single company. So pretty much a Bitcoin spot ETF, the amount of sheer capital that would flow in would be in the order of trillions into Bitcoin itself. So we all know how big the stakes are for that. And if you really are looking at this from the lens of Q4 2023, where we are right now, it is a matter of when, not if. So that's the more exciting than anything. I'm sure many of you are so desensitized to that by this point because the price action is still so bad. But truly, we have the biggest catalyst for price appreciation in the crypto space that we've ever had, period. That could happen at any moment. And again, we will see another update in just a few days on Friday on what the decision by the SEC will be. It really is crazy to think, because it is really anyone's guess, what will happen to the price of Bitcoin. Let's say like they come out and approve all 8 of the Bitcoin spot ETFs at once, which is more likely than just approving one. But let's say they approve all of them. It's really crazy to think about how much that will impact price. Not only immediately, because I don't think that's quite as important, but more so after, a couple of months, especially as we head into the halving, especially as interest starts to come up again. Because that's how crypto works. It's funny. Nobody cares about Bitcoin right now at $27,000. If we went up to $30,000 by this weekend, still, not really anyone would care. I would care, you would care. And it would just be like the people that are still really hardcore into crypto, but most of the world wouldn't care. Most of the world wouldn't care if we went back to 35,000. But I truly believe that if we start hitting those milestones like 40K, 50K, 60K, things by that point will really start to snowball. And yeah, I mean, I think by 60 and especially all-time highs right around 69K, nice. That is when all the people that don't spend every waking moment looking at the charts will then once again start to look at Bitcoin, start to look at crypto. And I truly believe that it will happen despite a Bitcoin spot ETF, but if we get that spot ETF approval, which technically could happen at any point, remember these Bloomberg analysts are saying there's a 3 in 4 chance that it will happen within the next 3 months, right? That's crazy. A 75% chance. Well, whenever it happens, and whenever we start breaking these milestones, 40, 50, 60K, yeah, you're gonna look back and be thinking, man, I should have been interested in 27K, but right now, nobody cares, and that's how it has to be. And take advantage of massive trading and deposit bonuses if you're interested with signing up to Femex or BitGet below. If you sign up with Femex specifically in the description using my link, it takes 30 seconds to sign up. You also earn free XPT in addition to all the other sign up and deposit bonuses when you trade anything below. Without further ado, it's free.